A while back, I was telling you all that we have been lied to about some of everything for our entire lives. If not everything, actually. And a lot of people think that this walk is just going to be just a piece of cake whenever you are walking with God wholeheartedly, whenever you are being obedient, when you have to do things outside of your norm, when you have to make certain decisions that you wouldn't normally make, but you have to be obedient to keep you out of harm's way. And a lot of people think that this is one way when it's a completely different thing. A lot of us do make this stuff look easier than it actually is. That's because some of us, we've been going through this stuff our whole lives, especially if you're a chosen one. You've been going through certain things your entire life. And so you become adjusted to a lot of it and used to some of this stuff because it's been happening to you. But the people who are just now getting into the word, like talking about, or getting into just God's good graces, because at one point they were enemies of the Lord and they are now babes and just now coming in. A lot of them are seeing that this is not what a lot of people was making it seem like it was. There are a whole lot of false prophets, a whole lot of false teachers, a whole lot of false pastors. There's a lot of that going on, and you would think, okay, this is how this is because of so many false people, but hey, it's not. And this is the time where the Lord has started putting a lot of his real ones out here so that people's mindsets can come out of that old system and into the new system, which is the truth, okay, versus the false system that has had people's brains tied up for centuries, for years, okay. I'm one of them. And demons, they are professional hitmen. This is why so much stuff has been going on. This is why there's so many people out here who have no idea about a lot of these things, because it is strategic by the enemy. Wisdom and knowledge of these things should not be just tied up like that. It shouldn't be so many people who don't have a clue, but it is. It's a lot of people who don't have an idea of what's really going on out here and where they are supposed to be within the Lord. It's a lot. And so sometimes when they hear people like me, they like, I don't know, because they're not there yet. And some people are also not ready. I know sometimes I say things on here. I've been doing that ever since I first started. I say things on here that I know ain't nobody gonna understand what I'm saying, but that is strategic by me, and it's strategic by the Lord, because if you guys are anything like me, and from what I've seen, I have watched people before, especially when I first came back here and God was leading me to watch certain people. Um, they would say things that I was like, what are they talking about, Lord? But I knew the Lord wanted me to watch them. So I was like, Lord, I don't understand what they're talking about. And God would lead me to what they were talking about. He would tell me what they was talking about. If I pondered on it a little bit, if I didn't understand it, I would ask the Lord, or either I wouldn't say anything. I would just think on it, and God would give me revelation later as to what they were talking about. So that's what I do, and that's why I say things anyway, regardless of if the video get any interaction or not. Later on, you will understand what I'm telling you all. If you really want to know, you will get it. You will understand later. But like I said, demons are strategic. This is why you have to be strategic yourself. God is strategic. You have to pay attention to patterns in this walk. You have to know how to fast in this walk. You have to cut people off in this walk. It's certain things that you just have to do in order to sustain. And it's not just the easiest process to go through. You're going to go through a lot of heartbreak because you're like, oh my goodness, these people not going. I tried to save them. They didn't do it. Could be close family members, friends. You're trying to pull them along. They don't want to go. A lot of times you end up having to cut those people off because they will pull you down with them and they can't go. So that's another thing. Then you got the realization of lies that's out here. Then you find out about your bloodline. Then you find out it's a lot. It is a lot. And wherever this stuff started from, you best believe it was strategic by the devil, by the enemy. And it happened way before you was even born. This is how real this is. And I know a lot of people like, man, I wasn't even here when all this stuff happened. Why am I having to go through all of this stuff? The blood. And this is why the blood has to be cleansed. Yes, Jesus died for our sins and he shed blood for us. And that's the reason we get an opportunity. Like I said, you have to look at these things as opportunities, because Jesus died so that we can clean a lot of these things up. We got another chance. We got chances at this. And God was grieved that he even had created us, remember? So he knows how difficult these things can be. Like I said, it's a lot of us that just used to it. You know, I've been going through certain things my entire life, from all the way back from when I remember being 3. You know, I remember going through a traumatic experience around 3 years old. Something weird, you know. And I have been like this my whole life. So, and all through school, interacting with people. And a lot of people, they misjudge us and everything. And they misunderstand us and everything like that. And I was talking to God about that. And I thought about it, though. I said, God, regardless of us being misunderstood, I feel like you are the most misunderstood of all. I feel like God is the most misunderstood of everybody. And I didn't say this part out loud, but I was like, in my heart, I was like, I wonder how God feel about being misunderstood so much. And I heard him say, he said, I'm used to it. He said that he is used to being misunderstood, okay? A lot of us are used to being misunderstood. It is what it is. This is why it's not hard to do certain things after a while, after years of the same old patterns of with people over and over and over again. This is why a lot of us don't have no friends, because it's the same pattern. They end up betraying us or doing something to us just because, or just because something got in their ear, in their head. If we have friends, they would have to be locked in 100% with the Lord and know the patterns of the enemy. A lot of people don't know that. So they'll listen to whatever voice that creeps up within their head, and they will betray us. It is what they will. I'm not saying they might do it. No, they will. They will, and it happens every time, and this is why we don't have any friends. Now, I'm not saying that it's just impossible for us to have any friends, because it is possible. But what I am saying is that the chances are like this. They're very, very, very slim for us to have friends. So then you got to put that on the back burner. And you find that you just have more peace without all of that stuff going on in your life. Because you don't want nothing to pile up on top of the stuff that you already got going on, with the enemy fighting against you every day to try to get you off your path. Okay? Demons are professional hitmen. Okay? They're professional hitmen. They'll use anybody if possible. And if it wasn't for the Lord, they would have took us out, bam, just like that. If you guys can see in the spirit, if any of you all have saw demons and how they move in the spiritual realm, then some of you all may have seen how fast they can move too. If you guys have ever watched the show Charmed, there was a couple of episodes I remember seeing where the demons were blinking. Like, they called it blinking. 1 minute the demon would be standing in front of them, and then the next minute they'll be behind them and with a, what you call it, to take them out or whatever. That's how fast they move for real in the spiritual realm. A lot of them do. I've seen them do it several times. And this is why Miss Williams will be like, you ready to get this going? What can you do? What can you do? It need to be done. I'm telling you, it need to be done as fast as you can get it done, because that's how they work, really, really fast. Just like when stuff started tearing up in Job's life. You see how fast that stuff happened? That man didn't even have time to even think before his whole life fell apart like that. That's what happened to me. I didn't even have time to even process what was going on with how fast these things was moving when it came down to destroying my life. Boom, this was happening. Boom, that was happening. Bam, bam, bam. That's how fast they can move. This is why you guys have to get up out of whatever it is, whatever funk that you could possibly be in, and start back doing whatever you need to do. Because where else are you going, to be honest? What else are you going to do? I know I can't do nothing else. I don't fit in. I don't fit in with the demonic. They'll be looking at me like I'm crazy. Like, what is she doing over here? What is she doing over here? That's how they was looking at me when I was going through when I was going through that stuff. Even the people, they was like, what's she doing over here? They knew. They have a knowing that you're out of place and you're not supposed to even be there. They know. So your soul know that too. That you don't fit in and you don't belong over there. That's what that uncomfortable feeling is. The majority of the time. But yes, demons can move extremely fast. And remember I told you guys about the dream that I had about seeing that ancient spirit and those ancient spirits in that church. I was in one part of the building, and then when I walked out of that building, I went into another one. But before that, I was just standing there and just looking at one of them, and next thing I knew, it was right beside me, just that quick. Now, it didn't touch me. It couldn't touch me. It didn't harm me. It just looked at me, and I just looked at it. And it was so tall, I had to look up because it was really, really, really tall. And it just looked at me. It didn't touch me. It didn't do anything to me. But if God wasn't shielding me from this stuff, if I didn't have certain stuff, it would have done something to me. It would have, most likely, it would have attacked me. But it just looked. And that's how fast they move, like a blink of an eye. Exactly like a blink of an eye. Okay? Each time I've seen them like that, it was bam, really, really quick. And this is why Miss Williams like, what can you do? What can you do? What can you do? All right? The more this damage that's done, the more there is to clean up. But I promise you, you will not regret doing any of the work. It may be hard and you may get tired and all of this. It's all a part of the process. And I know a lot of you guys get tired of hearing the same thing over and over again. You have to be strategic as well. You have to be strategic with who you listening to. Now, I mentioned this. You have to be strategic about who you are letting in your ear, online and offline. A lot of times you'll see us, we don't hang with nobody, okay? And they're gonna be talking about you. They may call you stuck up. Then you have to have boundaries. And they may say you stuck up just because you have boundaries. No, I know that is dangerous and I'm not supposed to be over there because of the things that God has me doing. That would cause some negativity in my life, unnecessary negativity at that. So I know to stay away from that because of the patterns. Because of the patterns. You go to recognize patterns, God will turn you into a complete soldier. And that is what he is doing with a lot of y'all. And that requires intense pressure a lot of times. You have to see things. You have to know when to clock time and all of that stuff. It's like a soldier. A soldier in the army. That's what this life is whenever you are walking with the Lord. You will be a soldier. He will make a soldier out of you yet. And that's exactly what a lot of us are. And that's what he's turning you into. And I know a lot of times you want to quit. But like I said, where else are you going? Ain't nowhere else to go. So you just going to let the demons just swallow you? No, you got to get up and fight. You got to get up and pray. You got to get up and move around. If you are in the middle of a falling and getting back up stage, then my recommendation would be for you to try something that you haven't tried before. Think outside of the norm when it comes down to this stuff. You have to really use your mind in every case. Falling, getting back up. If you really want to be completely upright, you got to be strategic about it. What is triggering your falls? Pinpoint what is triggering that stuff. I guarantee you there is a trigger there somewhere. And I recommend that you write this stuff down. Write down what happened, what you did that day. Also, do research on whatever area that you're struggling in. Do research. If it's alcohol, do research on alcohol. And write out the negatives on a piece of paper in a notebook. And read those things out loud. It will pull something off your soul. That's what I recommend for that. Falling, getting back up stages require you to get educated about it. Write it down, look at it, and think about what's the positives. What is the positives of this thing that keeps causing you to fall? You'll probably find that there are none. None. That's what broke me out of a lot of things that I was doing. This is why God just now has me doing this portion with the house, because when I first moved back, I couldn't do it. I wasn't strong enough yet. So he waited until I got to a certain point of strength before he had me to do this big project, because I'm strong enough now to handle the warfare that comes with doing that. There's warfare that comes with the walk and removing things, okay? They do not. And if you look at your people, for a lot of you guys, everybody in your family got something going on. Either they sick, something. It's like, why everybody sick? You don't think that's strategic by the enemy? The enemy didn't want them to prosper. He didn't want them to do God's will. He stopped them in some kind of way. The internet is the best thing smoking right now. We are in a time, this is the best time to be alive. You get so much information with a click, okay? Back then, we didn't have this. This is the best time to be here. I guarantee you. Look things up. Do the work. And I wanted to say, too, that your works are being stored up. So you're not doing it for nothing. Whatever work that you having to do, God is storing it up. He sees everything. He documents everything you do. So, and he sees the effort that you are putting into it. He sees your effort. The word of God is very powerful. Prayer is very, very powerful. You didn't find my channel for nothing. And I'm not on here doing this for nothing. Okay? You're going to go through certain things, emotions, all of that. See, we was lied to. They made it tried to make the walk look like a little slice of pie and cake and everything else. It's just certain people, certain people not really doing this for real. Some people not really working for God for real. When you work for God for real, you're breaking. God is going to have you removing things. God is going to use you to remove all of those bloodline curses type stuff. He's going to remove you to break things. He's going to use you to break things. Okay? And it comes with warfare. Not just a hater every now and then. Everybody have a hater. Really. Everybody got a hater. If it ain't but one, everybody got somebody, I'm telling you, that's hating on them in some kind of way. No matter how down bad they are. That's crazy though. But yeah, that's how the enemy works. He's jealous of everybody. But the intensity just depends on where you are. They speak down on people that are down, but they're still jealous of them at the end of the day. Because they know they still got a fighting chance to get this thing right. Long as they got breath in their body, they still got a fighting chance. But yes, you have to be strategic. They are professional hitmen. Okay? I love y'all. Take care. Bye.